everybody, this is Sherry with CPR, Craft, Pray, Repeat, and I'm just showing you here how I lay out my Cricut mat when I'm getting ready to cut out my pieces. And I apologize for the camera. I'm having to hold it so that I can show you this angle. I've had people ask how I do it, and I will try to do something showing how I do it with my computer in Design Space, but for now I just showed you how I laid out my mat. I cut out all my pieces to the size I want. I spread them out on the mat on the computer screen, and that way I know how much paper it's going to take for everything. And here I'm just inking my pieces. Now, if this is something that I'm going to give to someone that I know that is probably going to get just thrown away, I do not whip out my pan pastels and all this to go around the edges of everything. I mean, I use them for my eyes, but when it's something that I know is probably going to get thrown away, I just typically stop with inking the edges on the individual pieces. Now, if it's a card or a layout, I'm going to put a lot of time into it and do my best to make it look really awesome. And here I'm just using the aged mahogany, and this paper is from one of the Hot Buy paper pads, and I'm doing a little mouse, and he's got a little hat on, so the pieces from the hat have the little paw prints on them. I thought that was cute. And this is the same pattern as the gingerbread that I did during the hop here recently. And this is Versamagic Pink Petunia chalk ink. I really like the chalk inks. I think I get a really good blend, but I don't have that many, so I still use my Distress inks a lot. And I have this sped up ridiculously fast because I know you guys didn't want to sit and, watch me spend 30 minutes inking everything. So here I'm just getting my ground espresso and going over all the edges of the brown pieces for my little mouse. And it's a really easy project. I did the gingerbread man, like I was saying, I did during the hop. And this is the mouse. And I've also done the penguin, which I'll be back later on to share that with you in a project share. But I just go ahead and basically, after I cut all my pieces out, I put them in a bowl so I don't lose anything, because heaven knows I do. And I believe there's probably part of the pattern that does the score lines for you, but for some reason I just have never added it. And I altered the pattern, so I just go ahead and put my own score lines in using my scoreboard. It's nothing, it's just put it where the little folds are going to be based off of the little tick marks on the paper. So, I mean, it's not difficult to do. And I just, I just follow along where I can tell where they would line up based off the little cut marks. And that's it. I'm done. I fold them over. And if this were going to show, I would ink it. But because this is not going to be seen at all, it'll be covered up by the little heads, I don't even bother inking the box. And I mean, you can if you want to, but it's just, not something that I do. And I'm using my art glitter glue, and you can use double-sided tape if you want. I wouldn't recommend using ATG tape. I don't think it's quite strong enough, but art glitter glue will hold this stuff, and I could use it on the sides too if I had wanted, but I'd have to hold it for a second or so for it to set. So it's just easier to use the double-sided tape, and I'm just burnishing it down so it sticks real good. And I didn't have any more 1/4 inch, so I had to use 2 1/8 inch pieces, which will hold just fine. Really, it's not going to be a problem. And I just use my bone folder again to reinforce all of the seams there to make sure everything's good and adhered. That's what I'm doing right there, just pushing down on those seams to make sure it's all good and tight. And now here I am, I'm going to go ahead and put the hat together. And I usually try to dry fit it. I sit it on there first, make sure I know where it's got to go. And because I can't even begin to tell you how many pieces I have put together wrong. And one of the first things I do when I get an SVG file is I ungroup all of the pieces and I put it together on my on my computer in Design Space. That just seems to make it a lot easier. It makes it easier for me to know what colors I want to use and see what it's going to look like all put together, because sometimes it can seem overwhelming when there's a bunch of pieces. And so I do that in Design Space, and then before I glue anything down, I dry fit it to make sure I know that I've got it where I want it, so that I don't glue its little muzzle upside down or something, which I have done in the past. So I'm trying to learn. She can be taught. Now these are a little exaggerated on the circles here, because this thing is big and the eyes were really big. So just a regular little swirl was not going to cut it. So I don't normally make the dots that big for my eyes. Now here's where I'm using my pan pastels, and I've been trying to use this paintbrush, and it works, but I don't think it really was the best option for something this big. I probably could have went back and used my pom-poms and traced around it and did it that way. But I found that, because I can't get any smaller pom-poms right now, that those things are too big for the eyes for most of my little creatures that I use for critters that I use for like tags and things. And here I'm using the titanium white, and I just take a paintbrush that I don't know where it came from, and it's kind of stiff. It's one of my kids. It was just an old one, and it works for this. So, if you want to use a paintbrush, that's what I do. And I forget what I was telling you, so we'll just move on. Oh my golly, this is gonna be bad. And I hope this video makes sense. I'm so sorry, guys. And I am not the best at these eyelashes, but I will tell you that I start out longer at the bottom and I try to get shorter as I go up toward the top. I can do the right hand side better than I can do the left. So, and it's a little hard to see on this brown, so I will do another video again showing it on something more lighter colored and something smaller, so that I can show you how I do it for all my critters for my tags and things. But I really struggle with the left hand side. I don't know why. And I am using a 01 micron pen for this. For the critters for my tags and things, I use a 005 micron pen, because this is so much bigger than what I normally work with. I wanted to use bigger things, and I was telling you about the pom-poms, but for right now I'm using the paintbrush, and it's working for me. And let me know what you think about the white part I put on the eye with the titanium white. I'm just not really sure. I don't know. I'm struggling with that part too. So give me your opinion. Do you like that? Should I move it somewhere else? Let me know what you think. And I do normally use a pom-pom for the cheeks, but because this was so big, it just looked blotchy. And I realized that I got a better blend if I just used a makeup brush. It's just a cheap makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. And here I am using my gel pen again to put a little sparkle on his nose. And gluing my hat on. I flipped it over so I could see where the headpiece went, so I didn't put glue up too high. And now I'm going to put it all together here. And, if you look close, you'll notice that I did not put the ears straight. Nothing I do is perfect. Ever. I try so hard, and none of it's ever perfect. But I try. So, I guess I get an A for effort. But his little ears are a smidge cockeyed. But he's still cute. He's still cute. And I think, unless these people look really close, they might, maybe they won't notice. And so here I am going ahead and adding the pieces to the front and back of this little bag. And for right now, I only put it on that base part. But then I realized that I'm able to go up a little higher, which I think works better. It just makes the handle and the bag feel a little more secure. All right, everybody, that's it. I hope that you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. And remember to practice your CPR, craft, pray, repeat. Thanks for visiting me today, and happy crafting. Love you all. Bye.